The Detroit Lions are quietly building a very good team, and a lot of that is thanks to their new head coach, Dan Campbell. Now, just a couple years ago, this team was one of the worst in the NFL, and it already seems like they have a pretty good culture here. And just in this offseason, they have made some pretty big upgrades, like bringing in receivers like DJ Chark, Jameson Williams, bringing in Deshaun Elliott, Kirby Joseph, Mike Hughes, and stealing Aiden Hutchinson in the draft. I don't necessarily think this team will be very competitive this season, but if they have another good offseason like this and develop some of their players even more, we could be looking at a playoff team next year. But of course today, I'm going to be looking to make the Detroit Lions even better, and if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and turn on notifications for my channel, because all three of those things help me out a ton. And huge shout out to BDE Power for the suggestion. Go drop them a sub, I have their link in the description. And if you want a shout out just like that one, make sure you're subscribed and drop a like obviously, but I'm gonna start doing these videos based off of suggestions from the comments, so let me know down below what team you want me to do next, and if I pick it, I will give you a shout out. So that is enough talking for now, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Alright, let's get into this rebuild. So looking at this Detroit Lions roster, obviously they have overhauled a lot of these position groups. The main ones I can see that are looking really good and really promising are D-line, corner, safety. Their O-line looks really good, and their receivers obviously look really good. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, aka Among Us St. Brown, whatever the hell you want to call him. I don't know, I think Among Us St. Brown is pretty funny, not gonna lie. Brother of Equanimous St. Brown. I don't know what team he's on, but I always think of him on the Packers. Maybe he's still there, I don't know. Obviously, DJ Chark was a very good receiver for the Jaguars a couple years ago. I think he was injured all year last year, but he is, when healthy, a very good receiver. Obviously, drafting Jameson Williams out of, almost said Oklahoma, Alabama. That's probably disrespectful to fans of both of those teams, so I'm terribly sorry, but he is a very speedy receiver, comparable to a player like Deshaun Jackson maybe, and obviously they also have Quintez Cephas, but obviously this offensive line is looking a lot better than it was a couple years ago, especially because of players like Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, and Penei Sewell. Their guards are still questionable, but I am a fan of Jonah Jackson. We'll see what he can do. Obviously TJ Hawkinson is an amazing tight end, borderline top 5. I don't know for sure if he is, but he's definitely close. The goofball Jared Goff is still their quarterback, but he's shown like his, I believe it was 2018 season, that he can hang. He can be a very good quarterback. It's just about, he's basically a system quarterback, but if the system around him is good, he can be good, basically. I said that really weird, but you know what I mean. DeAndre Swift is a good running back, obviously. I expect him to break out this year. Obviously drafting Kirby Joseph this year. Deshaun Elliott, they signed over from the Ravens. He is a really good safety, underrated safety. And speaking of underrated, I think Tracy Walker is actually a very good safety. I believe he got paid in this offseason, but he fully deserved it. He's a very solid safety. Will Harris, not so much, but still. I also do like Brady Breeze, so just want to give him a shout out of Oregon. Right, Oregon? Yeah, okay. And looking at this corner room, they did sign Mike Hughes over from the Chiefs, and I actually thought he had a pretty solid year last year. And I didn't mention it yet, but you could probably tell these are my custom rosters, so I do have him a bit higher than he is in regular Madden rosters, because I do believe he is a pretty good corner, and he is listed as one of their starting outside corners, so we'll see how he does here. Amani Oruwariye had a really good year last year. Jeff Okudah, I believe number 3 overall pick in 2020, just has been injured and hasn't played great, but obviously he's still like 23 in real life, I believe. I expect him, as long as he stays healthy, to have a very good year this year. I don't know why people have already given up on him after a couple fluky years. Jerry Jacobs I do like. Ifeatu Melifonwu isn't awful. I'll save this position group for last because it's kind of gross. But looking at the D-line here, obviously drafting Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. Probably the best player in the class day one, but doesn't have the most upside in the world. I think he's like a slightly better Jadeveon Clowney. Obviously there's a little bit of a difference there if you catch my drift, but he's a good player. He just doesn't have a ton of upside. but I obviously do think he is a very good player. And here's another really underrated player, Romeo Okwara. Lions fans can probably attest to this, but he is a very good player. I believe he was injured most of last year, or maybe all of last year. I expected last year to be his big breakout year, but of course it wasn't. The Lions actually had quite a few injuries last year that were pretty big, so it'll be big for them to get him back. And then his brother, Julian Okwara, I still think it's really cool that both brothers are on the same team. And both honestly solid. Julian isn't as good, but still a really good player. Not really good, but solid. And Charles Harris actually had a breakout year last year. I am a fan of him. I believe he was drafted by the Dolphins in the first round and hasn't really panned out, but finally last year he broke out with the Lions due to opportunity, due to injury, so I don't expect him to do much here because he is kind of buried on the depth chart, but in real life he'll be a good third pass rusher. This defensive tackle room is a little suspect, if you will. Michael Brockers isn't as good anymore, and he's showing his age for sure. Aleem McNeil I am a fan of. I think he'll have a good year this year, but we'll have to see. I'm a very optimistic person with players, so obviously not all these players are going to break out, but we'll see. Levi Onwuzurike is also a good defensive tackle, and John Penisini. This team has a lot of fun names. John Penisini, Jared Goofball, Among Us St. Brown, Panay Sewell kind of looks like penis if you're immature enough. Dude, I'm the most mature David Blau. Dude, this team is elite in terms of names. And then you got crazy ass names like Levi Onwuzurike, Amani Oruwariye, Ifeatu Melifonwu, what's his name? Halapoulivaati Vaitai. That's a great one. Goes by Hal, obviously, but still. If nothing else, this team is elite in the name department. And then obviously we have to get to this linebacking core. It's not good. I'm not a fan of Jared Davis, pure like run defender. Alex Anzalone is solid. Derek Barnes has potential. But other than that, I think that's going to be the biggest position of need. Luckily, it's not the most important position in real life, but it is still a NFL position. So, I mean, you definitely want better than low-end starters there. So, overall, I'm pretty hyped for this team's future. Dan Campbell's done a great job. But there's nothing else I can really do here except let's get into the mid-season point of year number 1. Alright, here we are at the mid-season point of year number 1, and we are actually 4-3. Speaking of 4-3, I actually transitioned this defense to a 4-3 because apparently they transitioned to one in real life. They ran a 3-4 last year, but this year, according to their depth chart at least on Our Lads, they are running a 4-3 this year, so that's why the defense looks a little bit different. But here, obviously, we're 4-3, and that is very nice. Coming off of a loss to the LA Rams, unfortunately, Jared Goofball's former team. I'm not going to stop calling him that for the rest of the rebuild. We do have a few upgrades here, though. Let's see who this is. Any important players? Some linebackers, a lot of linebackers. Derek Barnes actually could turn into a decent player for us. We'll just have to see. But I want to see what is going on with this team. Why are we doing pretty well? Those standings are a little crazy. I don't know about the Jets at 5-1. Jared Goff is doing not great. 9 touchdowns is okay. Actually, that's really not that good. 4 interceptions is solid. That's a low amount to have, so I like that. DeAndre Swift isn't doing great. Our receivers are looking really good, though. All on track to have 1,000-yard seasons, so that's pretty cool. Not many touchdowns, though, obviously, because we're not throwing many touchdowns. Decker and Jonah Jackson aren't doing great, but other than that, Frank Ragnow and Hal Vaitai have 0 sacks allowed. And in terms of defensive sacks, Aiden Hutchinson with 4.5 already. Romeo Okwara disappointing a little bit, but overall this team is doing really, really well. A lot better than I expected. I don't know how sustainable it is because the stats on the season don't look amazing, but I guess there isn't a whole lot to do here. We actually do have re-signings though, so I'll do that and then we'll sim to the end of the season. We have Jack Fox. I guess I'll re-sign him. I mean, he's a punter. I just want to lock that position down for the rest of the rebuild so we don't have to worry about that. Tracy Walker got a contract in real life. We'll just sign him to that. So he should be here. Who else? Let's see. Charles Harris. I'll bring him back on a 2-year, $10 million deal to be a third pass rusher. Why not? I mean, he's a good player. He provides a little bit for us. Alex Anzalone, I'll reassess at the end of the year. If he has a good statistical season, I probably will. Riley Patterson, same deal. That's kind of the same deal with all these players here. If they play well, I'll bring them back because based on their overalls, I don't really want them back. But if they do well, sure. But that's really all the re-signings we have. There are not many. That's one of the bright sides of this team. They don't really have any big contracts yet. I mean, the only one I can think of is Michael Brockers, but we're going to be getting out of his soon. And then I think Taylor Decker has a big one, but I don't really have a need to get out of his. Jared Goff, obviously, too, but yeah, there really are not many big contracts on this team at all, so it's a pretty good position to be in. Yeah, Taylor Decker. Oh, yeah, they did sign Frank Ragnow, I guess. Jeff Okudah, that's just his rookie deal. So, yeah, this team is looking really, really good. And I guess there's nothing else for me to really do here except sim to the end of the season. So I will do just that. And hopefully we are in the playoffs. All right, and at the end of year number 1, we finished the season 6-11. I thought we were going to miss the playoffs. I didn't think we were going to finish the season that poorly. I thought we were going to be about like 8-9, but we're 2 games worse than that, which makes it sound not as bad as it really is, but it's not a fun position to be in after starting the year with a winning record. So I guess let's just sim to the offseason now, and hopefully there's some good free agents. There aren't usually in my rebuilds, but we'll see. And of course, I don't know how I forgot. Let's take a look at the season stats. It doesn't look like Jared Goff had a very good year. 4,500 yards, which is solid, but you have to remember there's the extra game. So in a 16-game season, that would be about 4,200, which is still good. Maybe 4,400. Again, not 44, 43, which is still good, but the touchdowns to interceptions, 23 touchdowns is very low. 11 interceptions is even a little high. So overall, not a great season from Jared Goff, the goofball. DeAndre Swift, also not a very good season. Below 1,000 yards, only 3.8 yards per carry, only 3 touchdowns, 1 fumble, which is a lot for Madden, which is surprising, but it's true. Jamal Williams, though, 418 yards, 4 per carry, which is rare for a backup running back. And let me slow this down for you. 16 touchdowns as the backup running back. That is kind of disgusting, knowing that all those could have gone to DeAndre Swift, but they didn't. Jared Goff with an elite 64 yards rushing. DJ Chark led the team in receiving yards with 1,200. Only 6 touchdowns because of Jared Goff, but 1,200 yards is nice. Jameson Williams also with 1,200 yards in his rookie year. Potential offensive rookie of the year. I mean, there's a lot of competition because it is 2 draft classes melded together. Melded, is that the right word? I guess you could also say welded. There any other word you could use there other than the one I did. I don't know why I tried to get fancy. Only 4 touchdowns, so maybe he won't win it, but he had a good year nonetheless. Among Us St. Brown, 810 yards, 6 touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson, 801 yards. Basically flipped the last 2 numbers of Among Us St. Brown's year. And then also 5 touchdowns. Blocking, let's check how bad some players did. Okay, Taylor Decker turned it around in the second half of the year, and Penei Sewell got worse in the second half of the year. Interesting. Jonah Jackson wasn't very good. Hal Vaitai was great. Frank Ragnow was also great. So I think I'm just going to keep this exact same offensive line next year. I'm not going to replace Jonah Jackson because he's still young and has a good dev trait. I'm not going to replace Hal Vaitai because he performed really well. So I might just run this shit back next year in terms of the O-line. I mean, I'm not disappointed with it at all. Kirby Joseph, 101 tackles, but other than him, not many tackles on the defense. So it looks like they were getting off the field a lot, which is a great thing. Tackles for loss. Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil with 19 each. That is really good. Derek Barnes actually had 14, Jared Davis with 12, Romeo Okwara with 11, and Sean Dion Hamilton with 9. I'm surprised he got playing time, but I guess he did. In sacks, those were not very good. I thought we were going to have a good statistical year in terms of, defense, just sacks in general, because of the sheer depth of our D-line, but it looks like that did not happen. Aiden Hutchinson led the team with 5. That's not ideal, but he was a rookie, so 5 isn't the worst thing. It's just you would hope for a little better, especially for your sack leader. And Jared Davis had 4 sacks. I'm not a Jared Davis fan in real life. I think he's kind of cheek, but that was a pretty good year. 86 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. 2 pass deflections, which isn't very good, but still, he played really, really well. I'm kind of curious to see if he placed towards the top for best linebacker. Maybe that's being a little too optimistic, but we'll see. Romeo Okwara with 3.5 sacks. Not great, especially for him. Derek Barnes with 2.5 sacks. That's good. I mean, he had a good year too. 2.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 62 sacks. Julian Okwara, just a lot of players with like 1.5. So overall, man, it looks like our team just kind of fell off at the end of the year. Some players performed better, but most players played worse in the second half. That's kind of what I expected. Our stats made the first half of our season look like a fluke, and apparently it was. But let's check re-signings here. Which players am I going to re-sign? I think I'm going to re-sign the kicker because it looked like he had a solid year. I'll just give him like a 7-year deal, just so we don't have to worry about kicker for the rest of the rebuild. I'm going to bring back Sean Dion Hamilton because he actually did do pretty well in limited opportunities. Well, not super limited, but somewhat limited. And other than that, I am not going to bring back any of these players because we can get upgrades here, even for these depth players. So now I will see you guys in the offseason. Hopefully there's some good players there. Okay, so here in free agency, as usual, there really isn't a lot for us to look at. Most of these players should be on contracts and shouldn't be in free agency, like Trent Brown, Devondre Campbell. Matt Gay's probably on a contract, so he shouldn't really be here. Michael Gallup. Like, a lot of these players are actually on teams, so I'm not really trying to sign those players. And we just, in general, do not really need them. I mean, players like Trent Brown, we already have Penei Sewell at right tackle. Devondre Campbell, I guess we could need, but he is being hard offered for by a lot of teams, so it's disappointing, but like usual, I'm probably not going to target much here in free agency, so more than likely, I will see you guys for the 2023 NFL Draft. Alright, so I did do a wee bit of blatant lying. We do have 5th-year options here. I don't know if this is going to be anyone major. TJ Hawkinson, okay, it is someone major. Arguably the best player on the entire team. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring him back. Yeah, I think so. It probably said he barely saw the field. Yeah, I can see it at the top. He barely saw the field. You're full of shit. He's like our 2nd best player other than Frank Ragnow. This game is goddamn stupid. Okay, now, unless there's something weird here, let's see. There might actually be. I will probably just see you in the draft. Okay, I also did a wee bit of blatant lying. Again, we do sign tight end Juwan Johnson to be our number 2 tight end, and my internet crashed, or my internet didn't crash, but the game crashed because I simmed into a new season because it's a piece of shit. So now I will see you for the draft. Okay, here we are in the 2023 NFL Draft where we have the number 6 overall pick, and I'm actually kind of conflicted here. I think I am unfortunately going to be replacing the goofball. I just can't decide which quarterback I am going to replace him with. I believe there were 5 quarterbacks here projected to go top 5, and I believe all of them went top 5. Which is rare, but it did happen. So the first quarterback is Jerry McCord. He's 22 years old, ran a 4.73, put up 21 reps on the bench, which is very good for a quarterback, obviously. He has A awareness, B throw under pressure, B throw accuracy, mid. So he looks solid from what I know. I wish I put him as a focus player, but I just thought one of those quarterbacks would be there. And then the other quarterback here is J.J. Shelley. He is a year older. He is 23, which kind of throws me off about him. I don't love that. I mean, I like MILFs in real life, but here I don't like the older people, you know what I mean? We ran a 4.20 20-yard shuttle. I kind of want to take him now. 4.20 funny number. He ran a 4.52. He has A awareness, A throw on the run, A stiff arm, which is really interesting. I just literally don't know a single throwing stat other than his throw on the run. What is his throw power? It is solid, so what is solid? Is that like 89 and 90? I don't know. I don't know the numbers for throw power. I guess we'll see after this. And then Jerry McCord is decent. So I guess that's worse, technically. Is solid better than decent? I guess it is. You know what? J.J. Shelley's a year older, but I like MILFs, so we're going to take him. J.J. Shelley, let's go. He has hidden development. So solid throw power is apparently 88. So I guess decent is probably something like 86? that seems a little low, but JJ Shelley does look very, very good. Unfortunately, he is 23, like I was saying, but 91 excel, 90 change of direction, 89 speed, 88 throw power is a little less than ideal, but I think his other stats make up for it, and hopefully he has a pretty good dev trait. Here with our second first-round pick from the Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford trade, that's who I was thinking of, not Jared Goff, but Jared Goff was included. We are going to take Zach Pittman out of Iowa. I am between him and Dean Wyatt. Dean Wyatt is a year younger, he's only 21, ran a 4.57 at the Combine, and has B awareness, A catching, C block shed, B power moves. I'm kind of talking myself into him because that does sound pretty nice, but as you guys may know if you've seen my videos before, well, this guy is 22, he ran a 4.59, which is only 2 points slower than the other guy, but as you may know if you've seen one of my videos before, I am a sucker for A awareness, A play rec, and this guy has both, which is pretty rare. Normally a player has like an A in one and a B in another, but it is like the biggest determining factor in overall, and this guy has 2 A's. I really want to take him. I'm gonna take him. I'm not gonna overthink it. He looks like the best, and he has hidden. Okay, 86 speed, 89 excel, 85 agility, 76 strength. This guy looks nice. We'll have to see what his play rec and awareness are and what all of his other stats are. But overall, that was a great pick. I am very happy I didn't overthink it and go with the other guy. I might honestly take the other guy if he is there later on, but Zach Pittman looks like a really solid linebacker. With this next pick, I am going to be taking another linebacker actually. This time it is Kevin Werner, 21 years old out of Texas A&M. He ran a 4.68, which isn't great, but it's okay. And again, with Kevin Werner, A awareness, A play rec. I was just saying how rare it is, then here's another one. C-man is a bit iffy. This guy, I don't know what he is. He kind of looks like a pass rusher though, so I'm going to take him. We do need pass rush help, and of course he does have hidden like I expected. Looks like a very good player, 91 excel, love that. So overall, this draft, I have absolutely crushed it. These players look amazing, 3 for 3 on hidden devs. That's always a great thing. I might just sim out the rest of this draft. If not, I might either look for another guard or safety. We'll have to see. I might just sim out the rest of this draft though. With this next pick, we are going to take right guard Adam Folsom out of Penn State. Only 21 years old. He put up, actually he didn't even go to the Combine, but has elite agility, elite change of direction, good strength, great acceleration. This guy looks pretty good. He has B awareness, A pass block. The only concerns are a D lead block, F run block. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't expect this player to be great. The only things I really do like about him is, well, A, he skipped the Combine, so he's immediately elite. 21 years old, which is very young, obviously the most room for development. Players develop at a higher rate the younger they are in Madden, and it obviously gives them another year to develop because they are younger. That's just kind of how it works, you know what I mean? And then the B awareness and A pass block look very good, so I'm going to take him. He obviously has hidden because I'm the best of all time. We are 4 for 4 on hidden devs. That is amazing. 88 strength, which is about what I expected. It said he had elite change of direction. Apparently 60 change of direction is elite. I thought it would be more like 75, but I guess I don't know what alignment change of direction is, so whatever. Good strength, hidden dev. Hopefully he can slowly develop into a starter for this team. Alright, and with this final pick in the 2023 NFL Draft that I am going to take, we are going to take Andrew Barnett. I would take Rayshawn Black because he is projected to go, or not projected, but he is a 2nd to 3rd round talent player, but he is 24 years old, which I'm not a fan of. He's not going to develop really at all. He could have a good dev trait, but even if he does, I mean, it's not really going to mean anything. Instead, I'm going to take a slightly worse player right now, Andrew Barnett. He is supposed to go in the 3rd to 4th round, but he is only 21 years old, out of what college, what school? Texas Southern. He ran a 4.53 at the Combine, only 12 reps, which isn't ideal, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. He was the best in the 3-cone, which is pretty cool, and he has just not great looking stats. I normally probably wouldn't take this guy if I'm being honest, but apparently he is a solid player. He does have a B zone coverage, which is pretty good. A injury, which doesn't matter. Looks like he can be a good kick returner too, so let's take him. And he is, okay, he does have normal. He is the first normal we have taken, but looks like a really high upside player. Low strength like I expected, but pretty fast, I guess. So overall, I'm happy with that one. And finally, I am going to just sim out the rest of the draft, and I will see you guys for the start of year number 2 of the rebuild. Alright, and here is a look at the draft recap for the first draft of our rebuild. It looks like the best player we took was Kevin Werner. I kind of expected that. He looked like an absolute stud. 83 speed. Okay, he is a pass rusher. 77 finesse moves. Yeah, bad coverage. 99 injury. 97. That's interesting. Really high injury, so we don't have injuries, but I guess that's still cool. But overall, these stats are scarily balanced. Everything is between like a 71 and a 77. Obviously with a few outliers, but really balanced player. It's super interesting. So he's a pretty good player. Obviously hidden dev, we'll have to find out what that is. Zach Pittman comes in at a 72, the first linebacker we took. 86 speed, 89 excel, 80 pursuit, 76 strength, 77 awareness. Looks like a really solid player. I'm very happy with that one. JJ Shelley, the quarterback, only a 71 overall, which isn't ideal. I'm really banking on him having a dev trait, or a superstar dev trait, at least superstar, maybe X Factor. I doubt he has X Factor, but superstar is possible. Adam Folsom is a 70 overall. That's higher than I thought it was going to be. And whoa, that is very interesting. Okay, so he has a very bad base run blocking stat, but his run block finesse and run block power are actually good at a 72 and a 74. Well, a base 72 for run block finesse. That is weird. I've never seen a player like that. Is that a common thing and I just don't know, where they have a bad like base run blocking stat, but the other two like additional stats are actually good? I don't know. That's kind of fucking with my brain right now. It's kind of shutting off, but that's cool. And then Andrew Barnett is a 68, also better than I thought he would be. So overall, for Madden 22, this is a really strong draft class. So I am going to go into the next season, and there are going to be a few question marks to start out the year. Okay, so like I said, there's going to be an interesting question for this offseason, and that question is, what do we do with Jared Goff? He's not going to be on the team to start the year. I hate to break it to you. I'm going to look to trade him, but the question is, who can afford him and who even wants him? The Colts want him, but they cannot afford him. The Eagles, the Falcons, they can't afford him. The 49ers, I don't know why they would want him, but regardless, they can't afford him. Nobody can afford Jared Goff. Actually, I take that back. The Seattle Seahawks can afford him and they do want him. Okay, I don't want to do this because if you've seen my videos before, I am a Seahawks fan. Why would they want Jared Goff? They drafted a quarterback. That's not realistic. I'm not going to do that. I think what I might do is wait until the final week of the preseason, wait for some of these teams in really tough quarterback situations to actually have cap from cutting players and stuff like that, and then we will reassess. So I will see you guys for the end of the preseason, for the start of year number 2, and we will see if we can find a trade partner for the goofball. Here is a look at the team going into the second year of the rebuild. Obviously, rookie quarterback JJ Shelley has hidden development, is 23 years old, but looks like a very good player. Hopefully he has superstar or better development. The receiving core is looking really nice and very deep. I did sign some players in free agency because, I mean, we really only had 4 receivers. Actually, we only had 4 receivers. Quintez Cephas was the last receiver on the roster, but we added Marquez Callaway and Colin Johnson. This O-line is looking very good. The only concern is guard, but Hal Vaitai did play very good in the first year of this rebuild, and Jonah Jackson is a decent overall and has a good dev trait, and obviously we drafted Adam Folsom in, I believe, the 3rd round, so if one of them does play terribly, we can throw in Folsom and hope he does better. I think the plan for this rebuild is we'll sim to the mid-season point, and if we are bad, we are going to blow the team up, basically. If this team is bad at the mid-season point, we're going to get rid of all the older players and just hope that the younger players can basically provide a little more upside and good play for the team. We do have a lot of younger players sitting on the bench, so we're going to throw them in if things do go bad. But without further ado, let's get to the mid-season point. Alright, and here at the mid-season point of year number 1, we are only 2-4. So as I said, we are going to get rid of some of these players on this team that are older and aren't playing well. Let's check the season stats. JJ Shelley isn't playing particularly well, although he isn't doing bad. 1,200 yards is pretty low, I'm not gonna lie. 7 touchdowns is pretty low as well. Only 1 interception is good though, so he just looks like a really, really safe quarterback. 62% completion percentage isn't ideal. DeAndre Swift is doing better this year, 4.6 yards per carry, 462 yards. Looks like 46 is his number. He has 4 touchdowns in 6 games. 46 is definitely his number for whatever reason, I don't know. DJ Chark obviously lower because the ball is getting spread around less this year. Same with Jamison Williams. Let's check the O-line. Not playing particularly well. I think I'm going to bench and or trade Jonah Jackson. We'll have to see. In terms of sacks, yeah, we're really getting no pressure. I'm going to make some moves here. Lions fans, you might not be very happy, but I'm going to get rid of a few players here, and we will reassess at the end of the year. Hopefully, we are doing better by then, but we'll have to see. Alright, here we are trading the Aquara brothers to the New York Giants, and I believe Romeo Aquara started his career on the Giants, so this is pretty cool. He's going back to his original team with his brother. I made sure to trade them together because I really didn't have a need for Julian Aquara. He was kind of just a 5th depth piece at defensive end. So we're sending both of them to the New York Giants. I wish I could have gotten a little more value for them because I think together they're worth more than just a 3rd and a 5th, but I'll take it. We're desperate for good play and more picks, so we'll send 2 underperforming players to the Giants for a 3rd and a 5th. I am happy with that deal. I don't know if Lions fans are, but I am. Here we are trading Charles Harris to the Chicago Bears in return for the same amount of value as we got for both of the Aquara brothers. Make this make sense to me because I don't really understand this. But I'll take a 3rd and a 5th for Charles Harris, who has underperformed, but I do believe he is a very good player in real life. Finally broke out with the Lions this year. I was going to trade him to the Texans, but they had higher projected picks, and those are harder to trade for. So I'm just going to be sending him to the Chicago Bears for a 3rd and a 5th. In my eyes, that is a pretty good deal. I wasn't kidding when I said I was going to blow up the team. Here we are trading Mike Hughes to the New England Patriots for a 3rd and a 4th. I checked Mike Hughes' stats, and they were absolutely disgusting in terms of catches allowed versus deflections. Last year, he had 4 deflections, and I think it was 65 catches allowed. This year, he had 0 deflections in 19 catches allowed. 0 deflections all year. 1 interception, but I mean 0 deflections. You're getting beat 19 times, but you can't bat 1 down. So I'm trading him to the New England Patriots in return for a 3rd and a 4th. I'm the type of person who, as of recent, I prefer stats rather than overalls, if that makes any sense. I prefer a player to be doing well rather than their overall being higher, if that makes any sense. So a player like that just isn't ideal. Jeff Okuda is actually doing pretty well. Well, not well, but a lot better than Mike Hughes was. So he'll move in to be our number 1 corner. I'm going to go take a look at the depth chart. It should theoretically be a lot younger, not necessarily better, but higher upside for the future, so I like that. And then finally, I will get into the end of year number 2 of the rebuild. One final move before I look at the team for year number 2. Well, not the team for year number 2, but what I've done to this team is re-signings. Amani Oruwariye, I'm not going to re-sign yet. We'll see how he does after the year to determine if we're going to re-sign him. Jamal Williams has been a good number 2, so I'll lock him down for the final year of the rebuild. Other than those two, though, Jared Davis I probably will re-sign when the time comes. David Long, again, like Amani Oruwariye, we'll see how he does. Same with Andrew Dowell, because I think he is playing a lot. I don't know about starting, but getting some time. So we'll see after the year for a lot of those players to see if we will re-sign them. But let's take a look at the team. It's interesting, that's for sure. We do have a lot of younger players. The offense is really the exact same. But this defense, Aiden Hutchinson and Kevin Werner aren't going to have to share snaps as much anymore. They're going to be 2 full-time starters. So I actually do really like that. The corners hopefully will play better now with Jeff Okudah moving into our left cornerback spot. Amani Oruwariye moving into the number 2, and David Long being our number 3, aka our nickel corner. So overall, things are looking up here. Let's hope and pray that we can actually win some more games this year, because I mean, I want this team to kind of turn it around. I want them to show me something, because after last year I was a little disappointed. But without further ado, let's get into the end of year number 2. Here at the end of year number 2, we finished 7-10. That is actually better than we were on pace for, so I can't complain too much about that. That does give us a worse draft pick, obviously, but at least it's showing some life with this team. JJ Shelley didn't have a very good rookie year. He only has star dev, already 24 at only a 74 overall. I'm kind of having the question in my head, like, do I look for a new quarterback this year? But we'll see. Jamison Williams, 1,000 yards, but only 3 touchdowns. DJ Chark, 900 yards, 4 touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson, 705. Among Us St. Brown with 696 nice yards and 7 touchdowns. In terms of blocking, it's like the opposite of last year. Some of the players who did well ended up doing poorly, like Frank Ragnow. Our tackles weren't great. Jonah Jackson was ironically tied for our best lineman, even though he was our worst last year. I don't get it. Zach Pittman had 112 tackles, 5 for loss, a sack, a pick, 3 pass deflections. We'll see if he wins offensive or defensive rookie of the year. I hope so. Jeff Okudah, 101 tackles, tackles for loss. Aiden Hutchinson with 19. I see something cool. 18 for Aleem McNeil, that's nice. Kevin Werner had 15. And in terms of sacks, Kevin Werner had 11.5. Unfortunately, only star dev for him, but that is a hell of a rookie year, considering he was only getting full-time starting snaps for half the year. Aiden Hutchinson bounces back after his somewhat disappointing rookie year, already up to an 83, and he had 9.5 sacks. Jared Davis, 69 tackles, nice. 7 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. No picks because it's Jared Davis, but he had 6 pass deflections and only 16 catches allowed. He's not a good coverage player. Why is he getting those stats? That's crazy. And in terms of interceptions, yikes. Only 4 interceptions on the entire year. I want to see catches allowed. Jeff Okudah was less than ideal, but better than Mike Hughes was, I guess. So I guess I'll take it. I think I might do something about these safeties, because they aren't playing great. Specifically, where is he? Tracy Walker. Deshaun Elliott's playing well. Tracy Walker, however, is already 28 and isn't doing very well. I might look for a new safety in this offseason. I know Lions fans love Tracy Walker because he is a good player, but he's getting up there in age, at least for Madden, and he isn't playing well. So all signs are pointing to him being replaced, but I will see you guys for the re-signings. We'll determine who we're going to re-sign. I know at least we're going to be re-signing Jared Davis because he was an animal. I will check yearly awards, actually. I haven't been doing that, but I do want to do that. So let's go check yearly awards real quick, and then we will re-sign some players. So stats and awards, The Indianapolis Colts do beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl, which is cool, 38-28. And MVP goes to Lamar Jackson. Mac Jones, Big Mac, the Mac Griddle is up there. Any Lions, I forgot what team we were for a second. I kind of always do that. NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year or Offensive Player of the Year, no leans. We do see Matthew Stafford in there. Defensive Player of the Year, also no Lions, unfortunately. Devondre Campbell goes to Seattle. Offensive Rookie of the Year, J.J. Shelley comes in at number 3. Kind of deserved. He wasn't amazing. Kevin Werner wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, to be expected. Zach Pittman only comes in at 5. I thought he would be a little higher, but there are more defensive players than offensive players that are eligible for the award, so it kind of makes sense. But let us go and check out re-signings, because I do believe we have some important players there. I believe Jared Davis is the biggest one, ironically. Where is he? Amani Oruwariye, I'm not certain of how he played this year. He's already 27, only at a 76 overall. He allowed 21 catches, 1 pass deflection, 1 pick. I'm not going to re-sign him. That isn't super ideal. Jared Davis, definitely going to be re-signing him. David Long, though, I am unaware of how he played, actually. I don't really remember. Let's see how he played in terms of catches allowed versus deflections. 33, only 1 deflected. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, Chief. Other than that, though, I really don't want to re-sign any of these players. I'm terribly sorry. But yeah, all you can go. And that means we're going to have a pretty good amount of cap space for this offseason. So let's get into the offseason, and hopefully there are at least a few good players for us to sign. Okay, there are a few good players here. Yeah, I know this is titled Realistic Rebuild, but I think it's realistic that if these players were in free agency, the Lions would go after them. So I'm going to go hard for some free agents that's this offseason. Let's see what kind of magic we can work. And as you know, like I said, I want to go full send this year. So I'm going to be releasing not Taylor Decker. I didn't mean to click Taylor Decker. I'm going to be either releasing or trading Jared Goff. Let's see if we can get any value for him. I wouldn't be too upset if we don't get really any. Okay, we're going to trade him to the Bucks. They desperately need at least one QB on the roster. So let's try and get a second. I mean, he started, so yeah, that's somewhat realistic that you could get a second for him. Not really. I'm pushing it a little bit, but I just wanted something for him. Michael Brockers we're going to release. That's going to free up 10 mil. Hasn't done anything because I haven't played him because I don't want to. We're going to be cutting Halpulavati Vaitai, yes. And I'm going to re-sign him in free agency. Former Eagle, I don't know who else, I think only Eagle. Not a very good player, but in this game, he actually plays pretty well. So I'm going to keep going hard in the paint for a few players, and I will catch back up with you when I finally get all the ones I want. Alright, and here in free agency, we are going to be going after a number of big-name players. The biggest one, probably Aaron Rodgers. Now, the rookie quarterback we took last year was pretty disappointing and is already pretty old. So I'm going to be looking to just say fuck it, and we're going to sign Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully we get him. I offered him 69 total points, which is pretty nice. I don't know how many times I've seen that number in this video, but apparently a lot. Denzel Ward, we are going to be offering a 3-year, $57 million deal. We're ahead of the Seahawks by quite a bit, so we'll hope that we get him. We obviously have a big need at corner after letting Amani Oruwariye and David Long go and trading not Jerry Hughes, Mike Hughes. I forgot his name for a second. And then Deron Payne, we're going to be offering a contract. I offered more for Quinnen Williams, who is a worse overall, and it was less points. So we're just going to go for Deron Payne because he's cheaper and better. So best of both worlds. We really need a DT. But Aleem McNeil has been good, but we need another DT, so I'm going to go Deron Payne. It can't hurt. Well, maybe it can, but I don't think it will. We're going to sign Greedy to be our number 3 corner over from the Cleveland Browns. We're offering him a 2-year, $13 million deal. David Long, we're going to try and sign. Ironically, we just had the other David Long in the NFL, but hopefully this one plays a bit better. We'll have to see. and Jack Driscoll just to be a backup tackle. So hopefully we can get some of those players, and let's sim it to the next week. Moment of truth. Who can we get? Who rejects? Let's find out. Okay, so I see a really disappointing one in there. Oh no. That was kind of the most important one. So in terms of exceptions, not exceptions, but players who accepted their contract, we have Aaron Rodgers, which is huge, amazing. David Long, good. I mean, he'll start at linebacker. Deron Payne, huge. Greedy Williams, good. Jack Driscoll, whatever. The bad one, Denzel Ward, rejects our contract offer. Our number one corner is going to be a 78 overall. Oh no. So it is Jeff Okudah, which is a good thing, who I believe is a good player, but we kind of are lacking a number one corner. We'll see what happens. That's actually pretty bad. Oh god. Hopefully Jeff Okudah can have a huge breakout this year, but we'll see what happens. He's developed steadily, not super quick, but definitely steadily. 5 overall in 2 years is good, but that's all for this offseason. Let's get into the 2024 NFL Draft. Here in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick. Chicago, I can't believe I said that. At number 10, we do pick, though. That was a really weird way to say that. But I really don't know what I'm going to do here. I think the obvious thing for me to do, though, is look for a corner. And this guy looks okay. He actually doesn't look super great, but he definitely looks okay. He might be the best one here, so I might be stuck with him. I might have to go with him. Kareem Mickens is faster, but just overall doesn't look as good and is older. I think really the only position I can go with here is corner because it is such a need at this point. So let's go Carl Woodley. He does have hidden development. Okay, that is huge. He's only 21 years old, 91 speed, 93 excel, 91 change of direction. Very good pick. I don't know how high his overall is going to be. He didn't look amazing, but definitely a lot better than what we have. All right, here with the second and last pick I am going to be making, we are going to take Keon Middleton, 22 years old, out of Penn State, 6'5", 297. He is a speed rusher. Ran a 4.85, which is good for a defensive tackle, really good. Had 33 reps on the bench at the combine. B awareness, A play rec, A pursuit, B hit power, only C tackle, but whatever, and C block shed. So let's take him. And he does unfortunately only have normal dev, but he is a really fast defensive tackle. 78 speed, that's really good. So I am happy with him. He'll be like our 4th or 3rd DT, so not too bad. We don't have a lot of needs necessarily, but we just don't also have a lot of really true elite players. So we're kind of in a tough spot, just kind of like the Lions in real life. They don't have a whole lot of needs, but they don't have a whole lot of elite players. So I'm just going to sim out the rest of this draft. I honestly think it can do better than I would, and I will catch you guys for the draft recap. Okay, it looks like I made a good decision with simming out the rest of the draft. So you guys remember how I said I wanted to replace Tracy Walker because he isn't playing amazing and he isn't the highest overall? Well, here is that immediate replacement. Channing Clark out of Vandy, 22 years old, 78 overall, 93 speed, 93 excel, 80 hit power, or I guess 81 hit power. Overall doesn't look amazing, but just pretty well balanced and fast, so looks like a damn good safety. And Carl Woodley was actually a lot better than I thought he would be. I thought he would be about a 72, but he's a 75. 77 man, 91 speed, 93 excel. Is a scheme fit, so I love that. Keon Middleton is only 71. That's about what I expected him to be. He'll be our like 3 or 4. Quandre Barber, actually does have hidden dev. 6'1", 235, so he's like a power back type of player. Only 22 years old out of Syracuse. Not the fastest, but does have good carrying. Is definitely a trucking, bruising back. Nick Barkley, 72 overall, only 22 years old, out of Oklahoma, hidden development, 85 speed, 89 excel, 83 pursuit, good awareness, good player right there, he might start. Brian Blackburn, another Linebacker, he's actually a pass rusher though. A speed rusher out of Michigan State, 84 speed, 90 excel, 78 strength. Looks like a good player. Kevin Boss out of Temple in the 5th round was a good pick. Overall, it was a good idea to sim it out, clearly. I'm glad we had so many picks from blowing this team up at the midseason point of last year, because that really did kind of fix this team, at least on paper. So I am going to trim down the team a little bit, work some of the kinks out, and I will see you guys for the start of the 3rd and final season of the rebuild. Here is a look at the team going into the 3rd and final year of the rebuild. Obviously, new quarterback Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starter this year. Looking at the running back side of the ball, that doesn't make any sense. Looking at the running back position, there we go. DeAndre Swift was pretty good last year. First year wasn't amazing, but last year he was good. Jamal Williams has been solid, and this new Barber guy should be decent when he plays, if he does it all. Receiving core looks good. Unfortunately, Jameson Williams hasn't developed as much as I would like, but he's been good. He's played well, just hasn't developed a lot. Among Us, St. Brown has been good. DJ Chark has been good. TJ Hawkinson has developed. This offensive line, I realized I forgot to re-sign Hal Vaitai, so Adam Folsom is going to be starting at right guard, so we'll see if he plays well. I hope he does, because Hal Vaitai has low-key been our best O-lineman throughout this rebuild. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, obviously we are starting the new rookie Channing Clark at strong safety over Tracy Walker, R.I.P. Trey Walker, by the way. If you know who that is, then you're a real one. Deshaun Elliott is going to be starting at free safety. Obviously, he's been okay. Looking at the corner position, it is a bit iffy, but Jeff Okudah has been solid. Greedy Williams is a new pickup, and what's this guy's name? Carl Woodley is going to be our starting nickel corner. Looking at the D-line, Aiden Hutchinson, Deron Payne, Aleem McNeil, and Kevin Verner, who is coming off of a Defensive Rookie of the Year season. Looking at the linebacking core, Jared Davis, Zach Pittman, and what's this guy's name? Nick Barkley are going to be our 3 starters, and David Long, I decided, is going to be our sub-linebacker, so he's going to be a backup here, but he will come in on certain downs. So overall, this team is looking very good. There's special teams if you really care about that. I don't really, but if you care about it, there it is. And here is a look at specialists, so like pass rushers, all that kind of fun stuff. So let's see if we can do some damage this year. I hope that we can at least make the playoffs. I want to win a Super Bowl, but I want to also at least make the playoffs. So I will see you guys at the mid-season point, and hopefully we are doing pretty well. Here at the mid-season point of year number 2, we are unfortunately only 3-4. We do have some upgrades here. Just a backup center literally doesn't matter at all. This is disappointing. I want to see this team do well. I don't know what is wrong with it. Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind, almost 2,000 yards, which is solid. Actually, that's really good because it's only been, 6 games? Or no, I guess it's been 7, so whatever. 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. That's amazing. 68% completion percentage. DeAndre Swift is actually playing pretty poorly. 397 yards, only 3 per carry, 5 touchdowns though. TJ Hawkinson, 635 yards, 4 touchdowns. You love to see that. Jameson Williams, only 400. Among Us, St. Brown, less than 400, but 7 touchdowns. DJ Chark, 300 yards. I don't need to go through all the stats. Taylor Decker, dude, you're killing me. What the fuck? Why? 7 sacks? Whatever, let's see. Tackles for loss, Deron Payne is doing well. Sacks, Kevin Verner is doing well. And Aiden Hutchinson both of them are doing well in terms of sacks. Now, full transparency, I did switch up the offensive playbook. That is why some of these stats are looking a bit different this year. I switched it to the Kyle Shanahan offense of San Francisco. And it kind of looks like it's working. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is playing well, but overall we have less receiving yards, which is really interesting, and DeAndre Swift isn't playing as well. So that might have been a mistake, but also we weren't playing well with our old playbook, so does it really matter? But there's really nothing else I can do other than hope that this team can turn it around. If we don't make the playoffs this year, I will consider doing another year, but we'll see. Okay, and here we do miss out on the playoffs, unfortunately. I do think I'm going to go into a fourth year here. I really want to make the playoffs with this team. Aaron Rodgers, 4,600 yards, 38 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. DeAndre Swift did have 1,000 yards, but 7 touchdowns, only, 3.6 per carry? Not ideal. 3 players go over 1,000 yards receiving. TJ Hawkinson, 1,208 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Among Us St. Brown, 1,100 yards exactly, 15 touchdowns. Mans went off. That's pretty cool. And DJ Chark, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. Offensive line, Taylor Decker. I'm going to look for a new left tackle this offseason. He hasn't been playing well this entire rebuild. Penei Sewell, not a great year either. The interior O-line was great. Adam Fulson looked amazing in his first year starting. But the tackles, man, they weren't good. And in terms of tackles for loss here, Daron Payne had 13. Kevin Werner had 10. In terms of sacks, Aiden Hutchinson, 9.5. That's not great to lead the team, though, with this good of a pass rush group. Daron Payne with 9, Kevin Werner with 9, and Nick Barkley, the rookie. Oh, okay. Superstar X Factor for Nick Barkley. 7.5 sacks. Okay. 3 interceptions for David Long, 3 for Jeff Okudah, 2 for Tracy Walker. Please tell me he wasn't starting. Okay, no, he wasn't. Channing Clark was, but apparently Tracy Walker was on the field a lot. Played better in coverage this year, so I'm not too mad about it, but still, why was he on the field? I'm not going to question it too much, but he shouldn't have been on the field that much. Okay, well, we're going to be going into a 4th year of this rebuild. I want to make the playoffs. I'm sorry, but I do. Defense, again, was disappointing. I know what the problem is. It's corner. We need a corner. Desmond Ridder came in at number 2 for MVP. Aaron Rodgers at 5. No other Lions. NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Aaron Rodgers at 4. No other Lions. Defensive Player of the Year. No Lions. Offensive Rookie of the Year. No Lions. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nick Barkley at 5. And Channing Clark at 8. So, disappointing year, obviously. Players played well, some did bad. I know what the problems are with this team. Let's get into the offseason to fix those problems. Okay, and I kind of forgot about re-signings here. I'm going to have to re-sign Aaron Rodgers. If he doesn't re-sign, we're kind of screwed. Just kidding, you're getting franchise tag, dude. 41 mil, sure, I'm fine with it. TJ Hawkinson, 4-year deal, sure, we'll give him that. DeAndre Swift, I'm actually not going to be re-signing. He's been pretty disappointing. Deshaun Elliott, that's pretty cheap, so sure, why not? Okay, fine, go test free agency, see what happens. Jonah Jackson, I'll re-sign as well. He's actually been good. For Deshaun Elliott, I might just replace him in free agency. We might not even go and re-sign him. I might just look for someone else entirely. So we're going to look for a new running back, a new wide receiver 3, a new free safety maybe, a new left tackle, and a new corner. So let's see what we can get. Hopefully there are some players at those positions. If not, we're kind of out of luck. But we can hope and we can pray, I guess. Let's see what is here. So for left tackle, yes, absolutely. Wanting like 20 million a year? Sure. Take my money. Take it all. Tyron Smith. How do you say his name? Is it Tyron or Ty? I don't know. I feel like I should know that being a big NFL nerd, but I don't know how he says it. So we'll give him, dude, that's still not even enough. What the hell, Patriots? Y'all are going hard. Why? He's like 33. He's close to like death. I don't know. He's like going through a midlife crisis while in the NFL. Looking at the D-line, I mean, we're good there. The other problem with this team was corner. L'Jarius Sneed is here. Sure, immediate upgrade. We need something there. We're giving him way too much money, but we really need a number 1 corner, so he's really the best we can get. Free safety, should I just bring back Deshaun Elliott? I kind of don't want to. As much as we should, I kind of just don't want to. We're actually kind of in a tough spot now. I don't want to bring him back. That's the thing. I don't want him back. He's not going to take that. Let's just not get him. We'll figure something out later. He hasn't been really all that good. Let's figure something out later. The Packers beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Let's just figure something out later, dude. We really don't need him. And actually, the realism of this rebuild is kind of out the window at this point. We are trading J.J. Shelley and Taylor Decker to the New Orleans Saints. for a first and a fifth this year. At this point, I'm just having fun. The realism is gone. I do not care. I want to win. I don't care about the realism. I want wins at this point. So we're going to go hard. I'm going for Tyron Smith. I'm going to offer him even more money because I want to guarantee that we get him. Because if we do not get him, we do not have a left tackle. I also want to look for a free safety. I might bring Deshaun Elliott back. We'll see. I just need someone there that can hold it down better than some backup can. So we're going to bump up Tyron Smith's quite a bit. This is the last year of the rebuild, so it doesn't matter what money we spend. Either way, even if we miss the playoffs, this is the last year. Do I go for Micah Hyde instead? No, I'll go for Deshaun Elliott. We'll go Deshaun Elliott. We'll stick with him. I mean, he could be finally good this year. We'll just have to see. So we don't even lead for him. I'm going to go Micah Hyde. He's old, but he's good. So we'll go for Micah Hyde. Why are the Patriots overpaying players so much? What's the point? We'll give Micah Hyde that. We're finally leading for him. We're going for blood this offseason. I want you to know that. We are going to win some games this year. I'm sick of not making the playoffs with a good team. We are going for blood. And we're going to skip a week. Let's see who we can get. If we don't get all these players, I might cry. We'll find out. Mental breakdown live on video. Oh, I didn't even know we were still offering Deshaun Elliott a contract. So L'Jarius Sneed, these corners, dude. He rejects us. Micah Hyde, we do get. Tyron Smith, we do get. Why can we not get corners? I'm going to trade for a corner. I do not care at this point. I don't care about the realism anymore, like I said. I'm going to trade for a corner. We need a corner desperately. So let's look for... You motherfuckers. I am taking Denzel Ward from you. He should have been ours. I am mad about that. Give us Denzel Ward. I'll trade a first. I don't think they're going to take that. We'll give you... That's a lot to give up. Is there a player we can find that's in like the last year of their deal that I can get for a reasonable price? AJ Terrell, welcome to the team, bud. And Breece Hall, welcome to the team. I am just going to sim out the draft because honestly, the CPU can draft better than I can at this point, and we really don't have many positions of need anymore. I kind of have gone crazy after this, so I just kind of traded for whatever, and I am perfectly fine with that. I don't know if you guys will be, but guess what? It's my rebuild, and it's the final year. I kind of want to just have fun in the final year and do whatever I can to make the team good. So, AJ Terrell and Breece Hall, bringing those two in, as well as Aaron Rodgers in the last year, bringing in Tyron Smith this year. I mean, there are still a lot of core players here, like Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Jeff Okudah, I guess Tracy Walker is still here. Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, TJ Hawkinson. All the two top receivers are the same, but a lot of the team is a bit different. But realistically, we haven't changed everything. We still have some of the core pieces of the team. So I'm just going to sim out this draft. I'm going to look for a receiver right here. If not, I might actually look for one in the draft. So maybe we will take one pick in the draft at least. But we'll do that, and then I will see you guys for the start of the fourth and final year of the rebuild. With our first round pick, we are going to be taking Alexander Riley out of Boise State. 6'1", 186, only 21 years old, ran a 4.43 at the combine. Decent reps on the bench, pretty good ones. A deep route, a run block, which is interesting. So for a running team, that's interesting. B spec catch, B release, B catching, B awareness, fully scouted, so let's take him. He is a hidden development. He was projected to be a mid first round pick, or just a first round pick in general. So he's probably about like a 74, 75, probably about a 74. If this is a decent draft, we'll have to see. But yeah, he'll be our third receiver. I'm very happy with that. Hopefully he has a good dev trait, and I'm just going to sim this out, and I'll see you guys for the start of the fourth and final year. Here is a look at the team going into the third and final year of the rebuild, or fourth actually, final year of the rebuild. The new additions for this offseason were Alexander Riley, rookie out of Boise State, really good looking receiver. Breece Hall, we traded for him from the Jets. We signed Tyron Smith out of free agency from the Cowboys, obviously. The CPU drafted Trent Griffin, who is a linebacker. He looks pretty good, 23 years old, but hopefully he has a good dev trait. We traded for AJ Terrell from the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. And overall, this team is a lot about how these players perform, because the team is an 85 overall. But if these players don't do well, obviously we're not going to go very far. We need these players to do well. I have faith in Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, these receivers, but the tackles I'm worried about. They haven't been playing well. The interior O-line I have faith in, but certain seasons they haven't played well. The defense as a whole has not been playing up to the level they should be. So let's hope this year we can finally put everything together and make the playoffs. I'm just going to skip straight to the playoffs because this is just the final year, just an extra leftover year to see if we can make the playoffs, and I will catch you guys there. Alright, so before I show the record for this team, just know that this is the final year no matter what. So we're not doing another one no matter what happened and what happens in this season. This is the final one. But these are some of the overalls right here. We have a really good team. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players playing at a 90 and above, and about 4 or 5 playing at an 85 plus. So we are in the playoffs. And admittedly, when I first saw this, when I simmed to the end of the season, I thought we missed it because I didn't see a game. But we are in the playoffs. We got a first round bye. Thank God, because honestly, we deserved to be in the playoffs. We deserved to be in them last year, but we weren't. But we do have a few upgrades here. We're going to use those, and then we will see who our first opponent is for the, not off-season, but, well, I guess the off-season, but the playoffs is what I meant. Hopefully it's not too hard of a team. Hopefully it's one we can take down. It is Arizona. So we are an 88 overall to their 83. I am nervous, though, because this team has not been playing up to where it should be. So we'll use this upgrade on Greedy Williams, who goes up to an 80. I'm going to sim this game, and then I will show the overalls for the team. I could do that before, but I just want to sim this out to see. So we are taking on the Kyler Murray-led Arizona Cardinals, and we do beat them 31-21. Let's see, we do have more upgrades here. Anyone important? Nope, backup guard. So let's take a look at the team. I know I showed the roster, but I didn't show the depth chart. So I believe it should be pretty good. We're up to what, an 89? Is that what we're up to now? 88. So Aaron Rodgers is playing up to a 94. Breece Hall up to a 90. Jameson Williams did finally have a breakout year. I'll show the stats after we're done with the playoffs. So Jameson Williams, yeah, he did do pretty well this year. TJ Hawkinson is playing up to a high overall. The rookies, Trent Griffin does only have star, unfortunately. And what about the receiver? He also does only have star, but he's already up to an 83. I'm guessing he had a monster year, so like I said, once we're done with the playoffs, once we either win them or get taken out, I will show the season stats. So we are taking on the New Orleans Saints. I've been recording this video for 4 hours, and we take down the New Orleans Saints. Sorry I'm not super hype, it is almost 11 p.m. I'm just trying to get this done. This has been like my longest rebuild yet. And we, funnily enough, are taking on the... Let me do these upgrades real quick. This is great. You can't write a better story. What is this Super Bowl? Okay, Jeff Okudah, cool. We'll auto-upgrade Kevin Werner. We are in the Super Bowl against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kind of the two joke franchises of the NFL are in the Super Bowl going up against each other. Now let's take a look at the stats and awards for the season before the Super Bowl, so you have to stay to see if we won. 31 touchdowns, 8 picks for Aaron Rodgers, not as good of a season for him, 4,100 yards, but still a good season, especially for a 40-year-old. Breece Hall with 1,500 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and do you see what I see? 20 touchdowns for Jamal Williams. But that's not all. Breece Hall had 4. What do 4 and 20 make? That's right. 24, no, 420. Among Us, St. Brown was our only receiver to go over 1,000 yards. He had 1,007 touchdowns. Alexander Riley had 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. Jameson Williams with 908 touchdowns. Not 908 touchdowns. That would be insane. 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. You know what I mean. 870 yards and 3 touchdowns for Big Cock Hawk. I don't know if that's a nickname for him, but it should be now. Offensive line did great. Jonah Jackson went from being awful to being amazing, letting up only 1 sack this year. And Adam Folsom was amazing this year. The tackles were solid. Ragnow was okay. 136 tackles for David Long. 23 tackles for loss for Daron Payne, 15 for Kevin Werner, 10 for Nick Barkley, 10 for Trent Griffin, 9 for Aiden Hutchinson. In terms of sack, Kevin Werner up to a superstar dev now with 16.5 sacks, 9.5 for Nick Barkley, who has been amazing with a superstar X factor. I believe he had 7.5 sacks last year and now 9.5 this year. Aiden Hutchinson was disappointing, but whatever. That's the theme of this rebuild, disappointment, just like me. 5 picks for Jeff Okudah, 2 for Carl Worley. Again, disappointment other than Jeff Okudah. How about in terms of catches allowed versus deflections? Nobody was admittedly great. Jeff Okudah was probably the best with a hot ratio of like 9. I don't know. No, more than 9. I don't know. It was something like 9 to 10. It's whatever. And, dude, I'm way too tired to do math right now. But let us get into the Super Bowl. So we are, like I said, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's really nothing else for us to do at this point except let us sim it out and let's see what happens. And we take down the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Hacksonville Jaguars, formerly known as the Saxonville Jaguars. We take them down by a score of 31-14, I believe it was. I don't know why I clicked on stats and awards, but I do want to see the stats for that game. So let's go and check that. Team schedule. Can we check that from here? Postseason. Let's see what happened. So obviously we outscored them by a lot. We held Trevor Lawrence to 0 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers threw 2. 1 interception though. Breece Hall 96 yards, 4.6 per carry. James Robinson wasn't great, only 45 yards, but did have 2 rushing touchdowns. Our receiving was better than theirs. Our blocking was way better than theirs. Cam Robinson absolutely sold. And in terms of defensive sacks, Cam Jordan actually had 2 sacks for them, but Aiden Hutchinson, Kevin Werner, Keon Middleton all had a sack each, as well as Nick Barkley. Overall, dude, this team, we really turned it on in the last year, mostly because we absolutely just went hard in the paint, but either way, we won a Super Bowl. So if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like, a sub, turn on them notifications, and comment down below what team you want me to do next. And if I pick it, which I likely will, because not many people comment on these videos, I will give you a shout out and tell people to sub to you. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.